Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DoubleClutch.ca podcast. I'm your host, Nick, managing editor of DoubleClutch.ca magazine. You guys can't see my face right now, but I was really trying to stifle a laugh because Nathan was making farting sound effects off mic just now because, thank you, I appreciate that.
Nick does this thing where he demands 10 seconds of absolute silence prior to any podcast so the noise canceling can learn what the room sounds like.
Yes.
And I think it's fun to fill the room with fun.
All right, let's go with that.
Yeah. See, it breaks the tension and now we're having fun.
Sure do. All right. This week's episode, we will be going over Nathan's travels. Nathan spent a few days in Grenville?
See, I thought it was Grenville. The people at the airport must have thought it was all kinds of dumb because I was saying Grenville to everybody.
Oh, because we're fucking
Where are you going today?
Grenville. Well, we're Canadians. Yeah. We say words funny.
Are you sure about that?
No, I'm Canadian. I spell color with a U. Okay. Last week, Nathan was in Greenville, South Carolina, as part of BMW's Test Fest event. So we're going to dive right into a bunch of cars that he drove and things he saw there. Then we're going to cap off the episode with what we're in this week. And if we have enough time, we'll probably go over what I had last week while Nathan was out driving some cool guy BMWs.
Yeah.
Sick. All right, Nathan, take it away.
Yeah, so with Test Fest, for those who might not be aware, every year BMW puts on a big event outside of their performance center in South Carolina, where they gather a whole bunch of examples of all the new stuff they've rolled out this year for a bunch of journalists to come check it out, drive it, on track and on road.
Sick.
So for this year, we were invited down to that. Kind of a last minute thing, but was happy to go down to that.
Yeah, made it work.
Yeah,
some cool Beamers.
Yeah, and I can't talk about a ton of what we did because a lot of it is embargoed, pretty secretive tech stuff.
There is some cool stuff, though.
There's stickers on my phone from when they covered up our camera lenses. They were trying to be really secretive about some of this shit.
Sick.
And I like BMW, so I'm going to respect their wishes and not talk about it.
Of course.
But yeah, they showed us some upcoming vehicles.
Ooh, vehicles.
Some upcoming very, very fast vehicles that we may or may not have got to sample on track as a passenger because it was such a young prototype.
Ooh.
And some upcoming tech stuff. Actually, some really cool tech demonstrations for upcoming user interfaces on the... How do you read this? Der New class. You've seen the press releases for the upcoming BMW electric vehicles. How do you read that name?
Neue Class?
Yeah. So it's Der Neue Klasse.
Yeah.
So
okay.
N-E-U-E
No, okay.
K class.
Okay.
Der Neue Klasse.
Right.
But that's just what they're kind of calling their new design language. And it's I can't get too far into it right now, but it's really cool what they're doing with these things and how much is being done in-house as opposed to the usual outsourcing that we see amongst car makers.
Sick.
Yeah. Really impressive stuff.
We can't tell you guys fully about that until well after the holidays, so you guys have to come back for that after your holiday hangovers and whatnot.
But yeah, really cool stuff. We always say on this podcast, BMW just fucking don't miss, and they're gonna keep not missing, from what I can tell.
BMW does it again.
They fucking did it though.
Okay, what did you drive there?
So, they had an assortment of M4 CSs, which I had already driven.
Okay,
they had an assortment of M5s, which I had waiting back here that you guys were all fucking around with. You're welcome for that.
We had our own BMW Test Fest back here.
Yes, because I picked up an M5 on Monday afternoon and then got on a plane Tuesday morning, and I graciously left the car here for you guys to fuck with.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I have thoughts. I'll pepper those in.
I think we all have lots of thoughts on that car. We'll get to that. So because it was here, I didn't really drive it. So I drove a pair of X3s, the new X3s. And so the two trims that are offered in Canada, I think maybe worldwide or amongst the US, but the two trims that we get here are the X330, which is the 2-liter 4-popper, relatively base model. And the M50, which gets the juicy ass B58 and M performance suspension and wheels and all the cool guy shit we like. First thing out of the gate, and I only drove both cars for maybe like 20 minutes at a time, so I have the X3 coming up on my own schedule over the winter break, if my memory serves, so I'll get to spend a lot of time with this thing.
So we have the 30 over Christmas, and then like 2 or 3 weeks later we have the M50 for like the full week long.
In my short drives with these new cars, I think these are the first BMW products driving or running on iDrive 9, the newest generation of their infotainment suite. I didn't like it. I think it's a bit of a mess. I think it's a bit of a step backwards.
iDrive, really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, that's very interesting considering how they've like honed it over the years into something that's actually pretty clever once you master that learning curve.
And that's why I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt this time, and some people might take this as just straight up fucking favoritism, because like I was frustrated in the X3. I was fucking pissed off. I was trying, because I don't connect my phone to cars. I listen to the radio like a peasant. Yeah. And iDrive was very good for that, because you go into the media selection and into the media screen, and like you just scroll the wheel and you can flip through the channels really fast. Yep. And I can't do that anymore. I have to go through a sub menu and then another sub menu to bring up all channels. And that was one of my most favorite things about iDrive, and now it doesn't do it. So maybe there's something buried in it. Maybe there's some workaround. Maybe it's just, hey, if you treat the car the way owners treat the cars and set up presets, it's totally fine. I don't know this. I didn't have enough time. Right. But at a glance, I didn't like it. I'll give the credit of the doubt that I thought 7.5 was a step back from 7. I thought 8 was a step back from 7.5, and vice versa.
And look where we are now.
So maybe you'll like it. Yeah. But at a glance, I didn't. Otherwise, I mean, Nick, you've seen photos of these things. What do you think of them? Because they're somewhat contentious in their styling. Well, maybe a little bit.
They're also much more tame compared to what else we've seen come from BMW. Mm-hmm. Like, and it makes sense because, like, you know, cars like the 3 Series, 5 Series, the X3, X5, whatever, they're obviously BMW's volume sellers. So they're not going to put the big sniff on these cars. That being said,
I mean, the 3 and 4 are big volume sellers, and they got the big sniff.
Not the 3. The 3 doesn't have a big sniff.
Doesn't the 3 have a big... No, it's just the M3 that has the big sniff, isn't it?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
And the 4 Series is... I definitely wouldn't call it the 4.
I wouldn't call it volume, you're right. Okay,
seller.
Proceed.
That being said, despite them not wearing the big sniff, I do feel like, you know, again, maybe it's just a matter of getting used to it.
And that's usually the case with BMWs.
Just kind of prefer the previous or the current gen model, at least at this point in time. Mm-hmm. I got to see it in the flesh, which we will in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
but
as you and I both spend time around them, because they're going to be around for like years. This is the first we're seeing of a product that's going to be around for 7 years or thereabouts. Yeah. And we're going to get to shoot them. And in the process of shooting cars, we tend to find things we like about them. Mm. So it'll probably grow on us. We also both hated the big sniff, and we're softened on it quite a bit.
Yes. Very specific applications.
I don't know that we're still... I don't know that I'd say we're fans of it, but we've softened quite a bit.
Yes. Very specific applications. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I've softened on it.
Yeah, so generally, I think it's pretty successful in the sense that it's instantly recognizable as a BMW. It carries forward the language that they're trying to put on everything. Mm-hmm. It's very reminiscent of like the 5. It has a lot of those design elements and surfacing treatments and angles.
I see a lot of XM in the rear haunches.
Yes, there's a lot of the XM in there too.
No, I'm not. Again, I'll reserve final judgment until I see it in the flesh. Not a big fan of that, like, XM-ish style.
I'm not crazy about it, but I don't think it doesn't work. It doesn't help that... I think the current X3 is kind of a sleeper. I think it looks really fucking good. Like, the current X3 is a very good-looking little crossover. Yeah. And it's hard to improve on that, but they've gone in a very different direction, and I don't think that's a step backwards. Mm-hmm. It's just... We'll call it sideways for now. Okay. But it's instantly recognizable as a BMW. The cabin is nice. It's a much smaller dashboard that they're trying to move towards in all their products. So it's a smaller, steep dashboard. It's comfortable. It drives well. The X330 is quiet enough. Yeah. It's refined. It rides well.
Are they eventually doing a PHEV again?
Not to my knowledge, but I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. Yeah, like it's about as far removed from like ultimate driving machine experience as you can get. Like it is meant to be like the mass market commuter vehicle for someone who just wants the small crossover appliance.
Fair.
But it drives like a BMW. It's nice and steers well.
Yeah.
And, like everything just kind of works well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really speak to fuel economy. I didn't drive it long enough, but the powertrain felt fine. Feels meaty enough. Like a lot of these like 4-popper crossovers feel like kind of anemic and generic and samey, and this still preserves some like DNA.
Yeah, it's still the B48, right?
Yeah.
As far as like turbo fours are concerned,
it's a good little engine.
Yeah. Not as like holy shit, this is incredible like the B58, but
I didn't. So like I came out of it like okay, yeah, that was fine, and that was my whole. It's fine. It's a perfect commuter whatever car.
Yeah.
And I got into the X3 M50, which is the much spicier version of that.
Okay.
So it gets the B58 with knocking on nearly 400 horsepower.
Jesus.
As advertised. It's probably more than that in reality. And big wheels and adaptive M Sport suspension and body colored trim and lowered and this and that. And it looks pretty badass.
Sick.
I don't think any of us at any point in recent memory have had the opportunity of driving like because every BMW is an M something now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think any of us have had the opportunity to drive a non-M badged BMW next to an M BMW in years. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like right back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right back to back. No.
Because everything on the press fleet here is an M something I.
Yeah. The only, the one example that comes to mind last year when I had the i4 xDrive 40.
Right.
Not a single M badge on that thing.
Right.
But I didn't drive it side by side with the i4 M50.
Yeah. And that was kind of illuminating for me because we haven't had that back and forth. And I have in the past, I've kind of walked it back a bit now that I've driven their portfolio and I like everything they're doing. But in the past, I've chewed out BMW for putting M badges on fucking everything. Everything's an M50, M60, whatever. Everything's an M something.
Yeah.
We've talked in this podcast. Can you go buy a BMW right now without an M badge on it? Like they do it a lot. But going back and forth with the like very obviously base vehicle and then getting into an M50i with that engine, with that suspension, with that chassis, with the interior treatment that has like the more aggressive mood lighting and shit that all turns red when you put it in sport mode and does the cool guy shit that like it's gimmicky, but it sells it.
Yeah.
It kind of puts you there.
Yeah. I'm kind of there with the M5, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. And like if you were just looking for a regular commuter vehicle, I would not recommend one of these because it is noticeably louder, noticeably firmer. Not too firm like X3s have passed, but noticeably firmer. Like there's compromises made in pursuit of making this a motorsport product.
Is it GLC 43 firm?
No.
Thank fuck.
Like there's more room in it.
Yeah.
So in its softest, it's softer, and its firmest, it's about as firm.
Yeah.
But it drives great, it handles great, but it's noticeably sharper, noticeably livelier, louder, way, way faster.
Sick.
As is the case with anything with a B58.
Yep.
So it's not just like for the cynics like myself, it's not just like a badge exercise. M doesn't stand for marketing.
Yeah.
It kind of does, but there's more to it. Going back and forth, saying, okay, this is just a nice whatever luxury car, and this is actually kind of a fucking weapon.
Yeah. Wow. And that's not even like the full X3M.
Yeah, like it is the difference between, say, like an old 318i and an M3. They're fucking different animals.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's not just cosmetic. There's actually something to it.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I like them both. They're both pretty competent, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with the X330, believe it or not, because as much as the X3 M50 is fucking badass, over Christmas I'm just going to be going back and forth to family and shit, and I don't want a race car for that, and I have the Miata for that.
Sick.
Yeah.
So, what do you want?
So that'll be cool. Should we get into the M5, or do we want to talk about the X5 briefly?
Let's talk about the X5.
Okay.
So with this trip, you got to sample. There's a special edition model that you sampled based on the new X5, which is exclusive to the States. But you sampled some cooler stuff.
Yeah. So part of this trip was also meant to be a celebration of a couple of things because in this year of our Lord and Savior, 2024, marks 30 years since the Spartanburg, South Carolina plant opened. Mm-hmm. Spartanburg, coincidentally, is where BMW's Performance Center is located, about 20 minutes outside of Greenville. And it's kind of like a huge base of operations for them. So this marked 30 years of that, and we got to be part of that big celebration with a whole bunch of the plant staff and BMW upper management and stuff. And also marks 25 years of the X5, which everyone thought was a dumb idea, but they were obviously insanely fucking correct.
That is wild to think that it's been around for 3 decades, almost 3 decades.
Yeah, so we have 25 years of X5.
That's wild.
Yeah, the US gets a silver anniversary X5. We're getting something. We don't know what it is yet.
I think ours the exact name is slipping my mind, but naturally, the one thing I do remember from the special edition we're getting is that it's meme spec. It's green over tan.
Sick.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. Couldn't tell you the name. Mm-hmm. Couldn't tell you when exactly it's hitting dealers, but it's fucking meme spec, baby.
That's fucking cool. So as part of their test fest thing and part of the celebration of the X5 and the Spartanburg, Carolina plant that is fucking enormous and is BMW's biggest plant and makes more than 400,000 cars a year and exports more than half of them.
That's nuts.
This does a lot of fucking heavy lifting for BMW and has done a lot to rejuvenate the area around that plant.
Yeah.
It's been so huge for that state.
Yeah.
And it's brought so many other manufacturers to that state because BMW got there first and then Volvo and Mercedes and Magna, Bridgestone, so many have followed in their footsteps.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's kind of a huge deal. And also the X5 changed the fucking landscape of the automotive industry. Mm-hmm. It paved the way for the Mercedes ML came first, but that was a truck. That was a body on frame truck. Yeah. It paved the way for the Porsche Cayenne, which has been kind of a big deal for them. Mm-hmm. The idea of the luxury sporty SUV was kind of all generated from this. So as part of that celebration, they had a whole bunch of original X5s. They had every generation of X5 there, as well as 2 of the first generation X5.
Sweet.
So yeah, I drove. I thought I remember seeing 99, but there's no marked 99 X5s. A 2000 Neiman Marcus edition. So it's brown on brown. Oh, it's so nice. It's called Impala Brown over cinnamon.
Yeah,
with a light poplar wood trim. Fucking beautiful.
Did you lick the surfaces? Did they taste like peanut butter?
No.
Okay.
It's a Neiman Marcus edition, so 1 of 50.
Yep.
You could only get it for the Neiman Marcus Christmas catalog because 90s yuppies.
Of course.
It's a 4.4i. It's basically a loaded X5, first gen X5. It's fucking really nice.
An AV8.
Yeah. It's always, and it wasn't just me that was saying this. It was always, it's kind of damning for any manufacturer to have their older stuff on hand.
Yeah.
Because it can kind of illuminate where you may or may not have lost the plot on some things. So,
funny anecdote, for sidetracking here a little bit, but a few years ago, I did something similar with Infiniti. Mm-hmm. And, they obviously had a bunch of their older stuff there. They had, this is in 2021, come down to, Arizona, try out our new stuff there. Mm-hmm. And they also had a bunch of their older mid 2000 stuff. They had a spotless G35 coupe that was stick. They had first gen Q45. They had a first gen FX, and I was like, why can't we drive these? Mm-hmm. But then it dawned on me, if I drive this stick G35 side by side with the Q60, I'm like, I'm probably not going to say a lot of good things about the new Q60. Anyway, back to BMW.
Yeah, so the first gen X5, which I think we've all kind of talked a bunch of shit about because it was always the pariah.
Yeah,
it's not that's the one you're not allowed to like.
Yeah,
but you and I have gotten those look Those look pretty good.
I always thought the 4-point AISs were sick.
Mm-hmm. So like we're starting to kind of like think about them.
Yeah.
So I figured, fuck it, I'll take it for a drive. Let's see how this thing is. It drives fucking great.
Really?
Like it drives basically just like a tall E39.
Sick.
It's actually very good. And it has rack and peanut steering, so it's technically better than your M5.
Huh.
In that very particular regard. I'm not going to pretend it's the same, but it drives really fucking nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
How much of those were based on the E39 chassis?
Not much.
Okay.
Like obviously a lot of like componentry is shared, the powertrain and shit.
Yeah.
But they actually, the X5 project came from when BMW bought Rover Group in the 90s.
Yeah.
In 94, I think. So part of that came with Range Rover, Land Rover, Range Rover.
Right.
And they were working on a new platform, which became the L322 Range Rover that carried them through the new millennium.
Yeah.
That platform also underpins a lot of the X5, which is why they both shared so many components.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like the X5 had a split tailgate.
Yeah.
That's from fucking Range Rover.
So it's
the hill descent control is lifted directly out of Range Rover.
So it's pretty much that diesel Range Rover that lived around the office for a while. It's based off of
much
that
newer
platform.
than that.
Oh, okay.
So that gen of Range Rover is based on the Range Rover Classic.
Okay.
This was based on like the up and coming next gen Range Rover.
Okay. I know what I'm picturing now.
Yeah.
Now I'm picturing the right Range Rover.
Yeah. Drives fucking really nice. It's not a gimmick. They actually nailed it. It actually is just it does the BMW thing and the feel and the handling and the steering and the feedback and the powertrain and the general cabin layout. It does all the BMW shit with like a generous sprinkling of Range Rover. And it's an honest to God best of both worlds. I fucking loved it. It's just really fucking nice and tactile and satisfying and sharp and simple. And it's so good looking.
They've aged well.
They've aged very well. And I think that's something that always kind of tempers my criticism of BMW is the amount of times I've said that's bullshit. Yeah. And then had to do an about face.
Yeah.
Like reliably.
Yep.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it was fun to drive this 900-mile X5 around.
Jesus, it wasn't fucking broken in.
It's one of their museum pieces.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool to drive this thing like around the area from where it came, right? Like, this was built 4 minutes that way, right? Like, it's just kind of neat. And and now I'm on Marketplace looking for one because I liked it a lot.
Naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
the M5.
Mr. 5.
I think you drove it more than I did. What do you think?
You know, for all the hate they get,
about what, Nick? Who hates M5s? About what?
No one hates M5s about anything, especially the new one. No one is calling those things overly complicated and way too heavy for their own good. Absolutely no one.
You can't see, but I'm making eyes at Nick. No.
Okay. New M5. I actually think it fulfills the mission statement of an M5 quite well. Mm-hmm. Especially one that exists in the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
I was also surprised at, for all the flack that BMW has received, justifiably so, that this new one does weigh damn near 1,000 pounds more than the old one, and it's marginally quicker. I still think that this new one is fucking fast as fuck.
Yep.
And there's also a surprising amount of feedback built into it. Like, I wasn't expecting there to be, I wasn't expecting it to have so much steering feel as it did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's unexpectedly communicative for not a CS.
Yeah,
for not a CS branded vehicle.
Yeah, I have many questions about this thing. Like, big questions, not questions for you, but one of them being, where the fuck do you go? How do you do a competition or a CS out of this thing. Like short of just putting like the angry buckets in this thing.
Yeah.
Then what? It's already a little too stiff. It's already like a little surprisingly coarse for what it is.
Yeah. But like I like that.
It's edgy.
It's
really edgy.
I like that. This isn't a competition or a CS branded car, and it's already so feelsome, so edgy, so fucking fast. Like
the car is such a bullet. Like it's okay. Other question. At what point do we call this is too much? Because I think this car is like there.
Yeah.
This is like the peak oil of performance. Like it has to go down. This is fucking dumb. That we've made a car that's over 2.5 tons.
Yeah.
And like over 700 of both measures of power. Knowing BMW, probably well over 700.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you do with this thing? This is like walking around fucking hunting rabbits with a rocket launcher.
It'll get the job done.
Yeah, it's just like crazy, insane overkill all of the time.
Yeah.
Not that you can't turn it off. Like you can turn it off and then it's just a BMW.
Perfectly good cruiser. It fulfills the mission statement of what an M5 is supposed to be quite well. It's supposed to be cushy. It's supposed to be fast in a straight line. It's supposed to be unassuming to a certain degree.
It's not. I wouldn't call it ostentatious.
No. It's a lot. I think it's more subtle than an M4, M3, M4.
Quite a bit.
Yeah,
quite a bit more subtle.
It's a much physically larger car. It takes up much more visual and physical space than either of those. But in the right color, it's pretty subtle.
Ours was the right color too. Shout out to JF for this one.
Yeah.
It's Daytona Violet.
God.
Oh my God.
What a gorgeous color.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Like at what point do we fucking call like, guys, this has got to stop? Because everything now is 5,000-6,000 pounds and 8 million horsepower. Yeah. And for what?
Yeah. Just like
it's rad. It's so fucking rad. And it's so fast. And it's so surprisingly good. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like touchy-feely like an old M3.
Yeah.
Or even a first gen X5. But it's so sharp. It's so dialed. It's so like supernaturally, ridiculously competent.
Mm-hmm.
There's no limit to... Like, it feels like it's so relentless in how fast it can go. It's one of the scariest cars I've driven. And I've driven some fucking fast cars this year. And this one scares me because it feels like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where this thing stops.
And it completely hides it too.
And that's probably the only thing I don't like about it. There's almost a sense of uneasiness about it because I have no idea where its limit is. It just gets higher and higher and higher. And I have no idea when the fuck it's going to turn around and like throw the laws of physics at me.
Yeah.
The car kind of scared me. It's so fucking quick. And it's not just like straight line bullet acceleration. Yeah. It's how fast it can take a corner, how much lateral grip it can generate, how it just is fucking relentless. And I think the only thing that really put me on edge is that when you turn it all off, put it in M2 mode where all the traction is disabled and it's 2-wheel drive instead of 4-wheel drive, and you put your foot down, like the car is sideways fucking instantaneously.
Yeah.
Just and like scary, like not like the Hellcat Funny where it's just like big dumb burnout, oh fun. It's so sharp and snappy. It just rips around immediately.
Yeah,
the car's fucking like, especially it's November right now as of this recording, and it's damp most of the time. There is no grip ever anywhere.
Yeah, those Pilot Sport 5s have no grip in mornings. Interpret that as you will.
Yeah.
Four-wheel drive sport mode with the stability M1 mode with four-wheel drive
with
sport.
The four-wheel drive back on, all of a sudden it can put it down, and that's almost scarier.
I don't know. I feel like I thought it was pretty straightforward to ease it back in.
Oh yeah.
Reel it back in. I wouldn't say it's easy to reel it back in, but it didn't scare me in M1 mode as much as it did in M2 mode.
No, it didn't. Like it it's not nearly as spooky because it's not trying to kill you as much.
Yeah.
But it's putting the power down and you're going so much faster. But there is that knowledge gnawing in the back of your head, like, this has to stop.
But I like that about I like that about cars. I like the fact that it can be such a quote unquote sterile, overweight sedan that also wants to kill you.
It's
like
got a really like psychotic Jekyll Hyde thing going on.
It's great.
And like, to its credit, it's not nearly as sterile as I expected. And as anyone listening, right, the thing's a plug-in hybrid. Like, you think like, oh, it's a compliance piece of shit. It doesn't feel compliant.
No,
the thing feels
it's
like a fucking demon.
So well integrated.
Yeah,
it's so well executed. You don't feel the hybridness. Like
you don't. No, it just feels like a really fucking strong gas engine.
Yeah. Like, it even sounds like a gas engine in
it doesn't feel hybrid. Like the Corvette E-Ray felt like a hybrid. They did it very well, but it felt like a hybrid. This doesn't.
No,
the hybrid is built in line to it, and it's just kind of like very stealthily baked into it.
Yeah. Like, when I was commuting in this thing, driving to and from the office, in an electric one, I was like, why is the gas engine on? I'm in electric mode. Why?
But yeah, it's still shifting gears in electric mode, right? Like it's baked into it really, really subtly.
Yeah, I like that about it. I really did like that about it.
And like the start stop, like there's a jolt through the chassis when it starts. Like there's a bit of a roughness at like low idle.
Yeah.
It rides a tiny bit too firm all of the time. Like it's not a big cushy car that happens to be fast. It's not like the i5. This feels like, I think one of the things that impressed me most about it is that it does feel kind of special. It does feel kind of like a motorsport bred product. It's not just the criticism that's been leveled against these things that it's just a big executive car that happens to be a bullet like a Tesla. No, like this feels demonic.
Yeah. As an M5 should.
Yeah. It's just... Yeah. It's really impressive. It's just kind of just... I don't know. I think I would have benefited a lot from time on a hot, dry track with it that I was hoping to get in South Carolina, but I got rained out super bad.
The weather here wasn't that much better either, so...
Yeah, but just like, give me one opportunity to see where this thing calls uncle, and then we can both be friends. Yeah. But instead I spent the whole time being afraid of it, because it's just like, okay, when are you going to get me?
Yeah.
And part of it's my fault too, because I gave it to Ben after, and he said, like, same thing you're saying, it's fun, it's playful, like it's fun to chuck around, it wants to play with you. And I didn't get that, but I think part of that is my style, because I like to use all of a car. I don't do 60% throttle, I do 100. And you can't do 100 in that car.
That's the problem.
You can't. You are chugging around a rocket launcher, and you can't shoot bullets out of a rocket launcher.
I thought the previous M5 was a fucking missile. Nope.
Yeah.
I will say this though, I do think the previous M5 had nicer interior accommodations.
I never had the privilege of driving one.
It just felt, it wasn't so much from like, build quality and overall fit and finish. The new one's pretty great, but
they don't miss.
It's more, it's more so like, the material choices in the new one versus the old one. Like Throttle House, our friends at Throttle House pointed this out, and they nailed it compared to the previous one, which had nice quilted, nice stitched leather on the door panels, on the dash, lower on the center console. Meanwhile, all that stuff's sort of missing in this new one, and BMW sort of trades that for more screen, more ambient lighting.
Yeah, it's a cleaner, like less ornate aesthetic.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
Car's a nice place to sit.
It is, and BMW arguably does it a little more tastefully than Mercedes, but it does the new one does sort of lose something in terms of like nice feeling materials.
I get you. I think part of it, and this can be taken as a sort of a double-edged sword. I think for a long time, the 5 has always felt like a small 7.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like a small 7 at all. This is a thing that has its own. It's like it's way too big and muscly and different to be like a 3.4.
Yeah,
and it's way too sharp to be a 7.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of its own
this
thing
is
now.
its own fucking animal entirely.
Yeah,
and it's kind of cool that they've differentiated it like that. I wonder like how much is the same under the skin, because like mechanically, like a 5 literally was a small 7 for like for most of its life.
Yeah,
the 7 came first, set the template, and the 5 just shrunk it a bit. Like mechanically, that's how it's been.
Yeah,
like control arms, suspension pickup points, like all the same.
Even visually, like over the years, you can still draw a pretty clear line between like E32s and E34s.
Yeah.
E38s, E39s.
Yeah.
There's always that
there's
connection.
A clear line. Yeah. And
maybe
the line's not here now.
Nope.
Which I kind of like, but there's something. It's a give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, like really, really impressive car. The amount of performance and practicality that's offered for the price point that it's offered at. So this car we were kind of talking about this a couple weeks ago on our last podcast.
Yep.
158 grand.
Yeah. Nuts. Compared to 250 grand for the 2024 Mercedes AMG GT. I can't do it.
Actually, that reminds me though. So we have to issue a quick retraction. So we were talking about torque and power figures.
Yes.
For the M5.
Newton meters.
Yeah. On BMW.ca, they were wrong. They just didn't translate Newton meters to foot pounds. So this thing is 737 foot pounds of torque.
It still felt,
which still
dude, it still felt punchier than the
yeah.
GT63.
Yeah, it's so fast.
Yeah,
like and it's about the same price point as say the Corvette E-Ray.
Yeah,
which is a faster car.
Yep.
But it's also a 2-seat mid-engine exotic. This is an executive car that you can give to say your roommate, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey man, sure, go run errands. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's just it can also be a normal ass car that rides a little firm, and even gets reasonably normal ass car gas mileage, which is fucking dumb.
So the
I got
couple
12
of days,
and a half per 100.
The couple of days that I had it, I got like 11.4, 11.6.
It's insane. Like
it's a fucking 700 horsepower car.
700 horsepower car that weighs 2.5 tons and is the size of a limousine.
Yeah,
it's fucking
great.
Nuts. Yeah, like, you know, for all my kvetching about is this the way forward? Is a 2.5 ton sedan with 2 propulsion systems and quad this and twin that? Is that the way to go? Like, maybe, maybe not. But you can't argue with the fact that it's fucking working.
Yeah,
it's faster. It is more comfortable. It is more efficient. Like it actually is hitting all the fucking targets they wanted to go out and hit.
Yep. Yeah, BMW arguably pulled this off better than Mercedes did with the S63 and with the GT63. Like I feel like their take on a plug-in hybrid missile, it's a bit more realized, more well executed, hits the mission statement better than Mercedes does.
It feels less plug-in-y while being better at the plug-in stuff.
Yeah. Like that's baffling. Like it seems like such an oxymoron, but they did it.
Complaint. My only complaint, especially having gone out of both those Mercedes AMG products, whose names I can't recall right now.
Yep.
The Mercedes GT sounded better.
Yes.
I feel like there's the M5 could do with like I don't know, like a dealer installed or factory like MMMM sport package,
extra M sport,
M exhaust package, M performance exhaust, whatever, just to like amp it up like 15-20%, give it a little more edge.
Yeah,
not to say the car didn't sound good. It sounded good, and like it actually revs out and it has like a really nice like kind of high pitched tone to it. It's an exotic sounding motor. I just want a little more of it.
Yeah. I feel you.
Other than that, fuck me, what a car.
Yeah. Like, I was one of those skeptics on the internet yelling because of how heavy it was. And, yeah, I'm going to eat my hat.
Yeah, but also, like, the Mercedes was 5,500 pounds.
Yes.
And it's a smaller car. Like, everything in that realm is fucking crazy heavy.
and it costs $100,000 more.
Yeah, like the C63 with half as much engine and a much smaller car is $49,000. The RS6 Avant, which doesn't have any hybridization at all, and is about the same size, is $49,000. And the hybrid system in this car is £800.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
So
when you look at you look at say 5,400 pounds, like, oh my god, the car's a fucking ham planet.
Yeah.
But when you look at the grand scheme of how everything else is also a ham planet,
Yeah.
it's not that hammy of a planet.
Yeah.
And I think it's a pretty sharp looking planet.
Kind of is.
I almost think I don't know. I almost think it's too sharp. Like in trying to, when I had the car in M2 mode and like, okay, let's let it get sideways and see how this chassis feels. It almost feels like it doesn't want to do it. Like it will do it, but like the steering is so sharp, it's hard to modulate smoothly. And maybe I just needed more time with it to get used to it. But I wasn't in love with it like I expected to be. I respect it.
Yeah.
Perhaps out of fear. It intimidated me into respecting it. But I wasn't in love with it as much as I wanted to be. And I would love to spend more time with it in a setting where I can explore it a bit.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the car just scared the fuck out of me.
Sick. And it's a 5,500-pound car that can still do that. It can still scare the shit out of you. That's great.
Yeah. I think it's because there is so much mechanical grip. Like a Charger Hellcat has the same power and is lighter. But because there's less because it's sloppier, it almost feels more accessible. Like it's still dumb and scary, but like I can get on this level. See, the M5 feels too fast for me. It's too good. I am not enough man for that car.
It's interesting that you bring up the Hellcat again, because I had the exact same thought. In this world of, competing automakers collaborating with each other, BMW with Toyota, Toyota with Subaru, Mazda with Toyota, whatever.
Everyone's just collaborating with Toyota, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, I wish there was some sort of alternate universe somewhere where BMW and FCA partnered up to plug and hybridize the Hellcat.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah.
It's just like it's so nuts.
Or if they like leaned on BMW to like, hey, we want to make we want to keep the Hemi V8 alive, the supercharged V8.
Yeah. Can we have Vanos?
Let's make it hybrid.
Yeah. Or something like that. Yeah.
And I wish that alternate universe existed, and the M5, it kind of spurred that thought, but this is the universe we live in.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts that like they didn't take it. I don't think they took any inspiration, but they took the Hellcat, which is a very cool but very wasteful car because it can't use its power.
No.
And in typical German efficiency fashion, they what if we made use of that?
Yeah.
What if we put it all down? And it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
All right. How are we doing for time, man?
We have about 10, 15 minutes left, so we can probably cap off the episode with what we're in this week.
Yep. What are we in this week, Nick? Because we've done a little bit of shuffling.
We have done a little shuffling. So I was supposed to be in the Genesis GV80, the refreshed 2025 Genesis GV80. Nathan was supposed to have the Bronco Everglades this week. A couple of mechanical faults that we encountered with the Bronco, so it went back today. But Nathan, you still got some time to play with it.
Yeah,
and now you're spending the rest of the week with your
GV80, which is lovely. I haven't driven it, but I sat in it briefly, and it's
extremely lovely.
They're so nice. Like they are. Genesis interior exterior design is like top shelf. They're so fucking good.
Yeah, there are a couple of misses that bothered me enough to bellyache about them. Number one, I don't like the fact that this is basically a near $100,000 3-row SUV, and I still have to plug my phone into it to use CarPlay.
Damn kids and your fucking phones.
I know. But
you can't let a good thing be good. That thing is a budget Bentley, and you're bitching about your phone.
Well, because literally everything else for the money does the wireless thing. Like,
yeah, it is kind of silly.
It's silly.
Like, it is kind of silly. I'll give you that 100%.
with compared to the rest of the segment, whatever. The other thing that kind of bothers me is, and Hyundai, Genesis, Kia, whatever, that whole corporate, all three brands are really good at the human machine interface. But it's baffling to me how Genesis would have two similarly sized knobs and similarly textured knobs.
I mean, you know what? I'm
so close to each other.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think I brought that up on like one of our very first episodes.
Yeah.
So for context, in most Genesis products, there's like a big knob to control most of the infotainment, and there's a knob to control PRNDL.
Yep.
And they're close to each other, and they're about the same size. And I know, and you pointed this out today, that like they're still fucking doing that. But I went out and checked the thing out just to do a little bit of homework, and they're different. They're a lot more different than they were before. They thought about this. So they listened to somebody, possibly me.
They listened to our podcast.
But I noticed that the infotainment one is about a quarter of an inch smaller in diameter, and has like much sharper, more squared off ridges on it, whereas the Prindle selector is the same, bigger, smoother size.
Yeah.
So there's a little more differentiation in it.
But like, is that? But like, it to me, it still wasn't enough. Where I reached down, and I tried to like, pulling into a parking spot. I thought it was shifting into reverse, but I ended up scrolling through a different infotainment menu.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's still, it's better. Still not enough. And that's a shame, because the rest of the car is just executed so fucking well.
Yeah, like we were talking about that. You were pointing out like the third row climate controls. The third row is climate control in the first place.
Like,
shit.
It has its own separate climate control zone.
Yeah, but like, and the knobs are like beautifully knurled and shit. But that's
third fucking row.
But that's smart design, like that Volkswagen used to do years ago.
Yeah.
They probably still do, but not as obviously as they used to. Where like you design one really, really nice set of switches and products, and then expand it across the brand.
Yeah.
So instead of, like the part sharing, bad engineering that we bitch about, where say Volkswagen parts show up on Audis, it goes the other way. You design a part that fits in an Audi.
Yep.
And then that can track up to a Bentley, up to a Bugatti, because a Bugatti is the same fucking key fob, and down to a VW. But you've only designed one part. Just smart stuff like that.
Yep.
You can see that in here. And I kind of respect the interior designer's creative vision. Yeah. How he's like, no. I like the cohesive look of having the two knobs here that are about the same size. It's cohesive. I'm sticking to my fucking vision. It's beautiful.
No, it makes me mad.
Fucking schmucks. And this was his concession.
Yeah.
While still sticking to his vision. And I kind of respect that. Dumb as it is.
Fair. Still pretty dumb. But like the rest of it, the rest of the interior is like pulled off so nicely. The materials are great. The execution, the bling, for lack of a better word, is just so...
It's so nice. Like if you said the thing was like 50 grand more than it is, I wouldn't bat an eye. Like it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the 2025 GV80. So it's been very mildly refreshed. The grille's been reshaped. There's a slightly different pattern in the mesh. New wheels, reshaped bumpers. Obviously, the big news with the GV80 for 25 is the coupe version, which this is not. Which this is not. This is the regular SUV.
Yeah.
Sidebar: the coupe version I find is perhaps one of the more better executed ones in the coupe SUVs world.
Yeah, I get behind that.
That's a discussion that we're going to have in January after the holidays when we have the coupe. But regardless, it drives great. It still has Genesis's twin turbo V6 pushing out, I want to say 375 horsepower.
Is this the 3.3 or the 3.5?
3.5.
Okay. I go back and forth on which one's which, because they're using both for a while, right? Like,
yeah. And they still are. The G70 still has the 3.3.
Right.
But the GV70 and the G80, they have
the 3.5.
3.5.
The 3.5 is newer, right?
Yeah.
Right. There we go. Okay.
Great transmission.
Yeah, I haven't driven it, but like you got away from me pretty quick in the Bronco in that thing.
Oh yeah. That thing, this thing fucking boogies.
Okay, but like let's do this. Compare and contrast with an X5. This thing does compete with an X5 or an X7.
It's kind of an in-betweener.
Okay.
Very, very X5 sized footprint, but this thing has a third row.
Mm-hmm.
Standard.
Okay.
I think you can get a third row optional in the X5.
I think they might have. I think I remember hearing they discontinued it in favor of just moving to the X7, but I'm not sure.
Makes sense.
Either way, but like from powertrain, the drive, the way things sound, the way things feel, the overall interior layout and usability.
The double screens and the knobs setup, it's reminiscent of iDrive.
Okay.
Maybe less of a learning curve at first. In terms of the drive, it's a little softer than an X5.
Naturally.
A bit more wallowy, a bit more play in the steering, a little less feedback, a little less feel.
So it's overall more insulated, more relaxed.
Yeah, exactly.
And probably deliberately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obviously it's softer. It's softer around the edges than an X5.
Quieter, smoother, slicker. Does it feel nicer? As nice?
Feels as nice.
Okay.
It feels just as nice, especially like with material quality, fit and finish. It just it feels like a fully realized luxury SUV.
Okay.
Everything feels great. Everything is just so tight, feels solid. Great space and great headroom up front, great headroom and legroom up back. Hadn't climbed into the third row, so I won't comment on those accommodations.
Powertrain? Nothing's as good as a B58, but how is it?
No, that's the thing. The B58 is a cheat code, especially when it's paired to a plug-in hybrid, like the X550e we were goo-goo bananas over last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I feel like that is what tips me towards the X5. The fact that you can get a plug-in hybrid with the X5. Meanwhile, the GV80 is not doing that. It's still gas only.
But okay, so let's flip it around because nothing can topple the X5. That is the best car you can buy. What about say like Audis, Benzes, like those kits of the world? I think the only Benz SUV you've had is the GLE last year, right?
Size-wise, yes.
Yeah.
Again, plug-in hybrid.
Yeah.
I still... You know what? Over a strict gasser 4-cylinder GLE, I'd take the GV80.
Okay.
Much nicer interior.
Yeah.
It just feels more solid. It feels more cushy.
Mm-hmm. I really like the look. Like they're so good looking.
They're such sharp looking things.
Mm-hmm.
I would take this over an MDX, QX60.
Basically everything but an X5.
Yeah.
That's why I picked the X5. All right, let's top the iceberg. How does it stack up to that?
I wouldn't take this over an X5. I'd take this over almost anything else in the segment. Like the only thing that might give me pause, maybe a Q7.
Okay.
But it's been a long time since we've driven a Q7, and the only Q8 that we've driven was the electric one. Yeah. So not really,
which was lovely.
Yeah, like not quite a fair comparison there. Like I take this over any MDX, any RX, any QX60, any XT6.
Yeah, it punches way out of its weight class.
It really does. It kind of reminds me of what Infiniti used to be back in like the early 2000s, where they really went after BMW with like genuinely good, genuinely competitive products.
And I like that I like that it's not going after BMW. Like, obviously, like they're in the same class of vehicle, but like, it's not trying to capture that. It's not trying to do the same thing. It's trying to be like kind of the Mercedes-ish thing. Like it is literally Bentley's designer. Like it's a budget Bentley, but it doesn't feel budget. It feels beautiful.
Oh yeah, and it very much prioritizes comfort first over dynamics.
Yeah, comfort, aesthetic, presence.
Oh yeah,
first.
Oh yeah, presence for sure. Yeah, it's very well executed. Great value considering it's nearly.
Yeah, how much is it?
Nearly. It's within a stone's throw of $100,000.
Okay, but it's like decked out the door, loaded,
completely loaded. The only choice you get with this particular model is color,
right? Which is really nice.
Yeah, gorgeous specs. It's like dark blue on like a chestnut brown. Color combo. It's very nice.
Cool.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes to spare.
Okay.
You fill the next 5 minutes with your Bronco Everglades?
I don't know if I should. Okay. So yesterday I went and picked up a 2024 Ford Bronco Everglades. It is their kind of like 1 or 2 steps up from base, like amenity wise, but like close to the top for off-road tech badassy wise.
It looked sick.
It did look sick. It still looks sick.
Yeah.
Wherever I've parked it. Because I took it back today because it was pissing me off because it was a tiny bit broken.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll address that really quick. I don't know, like I didn't do anything. I took the front roof panels off yesterday because it was an unseasonably warm day in November.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. And I had the rear windows cracked a few inches to like diffuse the air pressure from the air coming in from through the front.
Yeah.
And I drove it around like that for most of the day. And then when I went home, I put the top on, I put the windows up, and the rear passenger door was rattling like a fucking city bus. Just that... Like, even coming to a stop, like, engine vibrations were getting this thing to rattle like fucking...
Really?
Like, I was like, what is that? I'm trying to track it down. Like, it's something in the door. And it did it less with the window down. So I know, okay, so there's something going on with the window regulator, the window track. Something's not happy. Something's broken in there.
Yeah.
And there is an adjustment point on the bottom of the doors for, like, the windows because they are frameless and people do take the doors off.
Yeah.
And there's already tool marks there, so someone's been in there before.
Ooh.
To try and rectify this. That was super fucking annoying. So I took it back.
Yeah.
But I spent the day with it. I shot it. I played with it. The thing drives great. It drives like a Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm surprised these aren't the 3.5.
The 2.7. Yeah. The V6 Broncos get the 2.7. The Raptor gets the 3-liter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm also surprised it's not the 2.76 because as I was bitching to you earlier, so like the 4-cylinder in this thing doesn't feel anemic at all. It's the high output version of the 2.3-liter 4-cylinder. It's 300 horsepower, 325 foot-pounds of torque.
It's not nothing.
Not nothing. It's got a snorkel, so it makes cool guy turbo noises.
Sick.
Not nearly as aggressive as the Toyota Trail Hunter. Yeah. But they're there. And it's got like a really brawny exhaust note on it. Mm-hmm. Like it feels and sounds like a meaty powertrain. The thing doesn't feel like a slug. My only complaint with it is that, and I've said this before many times, I will keep saying it, with the Ford EcoBoost engines, it's Eco or Boost. You don't get both. Mm-hmm. And this thing, because it is on like 35-inch off-road tires with a gigantic winch hanging off the front, being that it's the 4-door body, being that it weighs 5,000 pounds, this engine has to boost so fucking much to get it to move and not feel like a slug that you don't get Eco at all.
You just barely get boost.
Yeah, you get boost. And you get lots of boost, but because of that, I averaged 15.3 liters per 100. Ooh. And at that point, which is worse than the 6-cylinder Bronco I had last Christmas, 2 Christmases ago.
That was the Badlands too.
That was also like a badass 35-inch like off-roady spec one.
Yikes.
Not quite as badass and not as big either, to its credit. But like, I don't know why this is a 4. Like the only thing I can assume why they went for the 4-cylinder only for this Everglades trim is to take weight off the front end because there's a winch hanging off the front of it. Like a big ass legit worn winch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got like a pretty cool graphics pack on the front fenders, bespoke wheels that I think look fucking sick.
Oh yeah.
And like it's an aggressive fitment too. Like I think this is about as visually angry as you can get without going to a Raptor.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That thing has presence and a half.
Yeah, like it looks like a kid's toy truck in the best way. It's fucking rad.
Damn shame we had our time was cut short with it because it looks sick.
Yeah, the thing was rad, and I was having fun playing with it. Like it drives great, it moves along well enough. Yeah. I didn't bemoan not having the 6-cylinder. Mm-hmm. It moves fine. It sounds good. And in typical Bronco fashion, like they handle about as well as a truck that big can. Yeah, right? It's not an independent front suspension, and it's better for it. Like its on-road manners are fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's firm. It just kind of steamrolls over bumps, but it also has like really fancy separate reservoir shocks that just make speed bumps and shit disappear.
Nice.
And obviously, like for the little off-roading I did today, just to get the photos I wanted out of it, it just makes everything go away. It's fun. It is a fun toy, like spirited, characterful truck.
Yeah.
And just like my mom has a Bronco. There's 2 Broncos at my mom's house. One of them needed a trans rebuild at 3,000 kilometers, and then needed a clutch slave. There's another Bronco they just bought that like the passenger seat doesn't work. There was a door adjustment needed to be done. There's a couple other things she listed today, like, and it's not even due for its first service. And then this thing goes back for a fucking broken whatever's wrong with the door. It didn't stop the truck. The windows work. The locks work. Like I'm being a princess about it, but I'm also like I don't want to listen to this shit. It's annoying, and I'm also trying to like help the fleet out. Hey, if I can bring this thing back, you can fix and turn it back around for the next guy.
Yeah.
But just like, fix your damn house. Like,
jeez,
it's so disheartening because I love these things. They're fucking cool. I want them to succeed. I want them to do well. And it's just stupid shit like this. And there's a limited amount that I can knock for it because their dealer level support is very good. Yeah. Because I personally oversaw that trans rebuild on my fucking mom's truck. Mm-hmm. Like they were very good about it. They didn't fight me at all. Like it's a huge job. And they just, sure, we'll take care of that, sir. Sorry. But like, this is why you guys are sinking and hurting so much for profit because you're losing so much fucking money on warranty repairs at the dealer level that you should have addressed on the way out the door. And it's little shit. It's little dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like, you made the joke earlier, like quality is job one. Like, yeah, guys, quality is a job.
Yeah.
Like, the engineering is so good. The engineering behind it is so fucking good. Yeah. They're wonderful and they're well thought out and they're fun. Like you nailed the mission statement.
Absolutely.
And then fucking missed dotting the I's and the T's.
Yeah.
Like, fix your house.
So close. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. You filled the 5 minutes. There you go. Sweet. Good. And that just about takes us to the end of our episode.
Thanks for listening, guys. Sweet. And next week we'll have, what do we have next week? I'm in a Mini Countryman S. Okay.
Which you probably drove.
Oh, that's right. So one of the things we forgot to mention about Test Fest is I drove a Mini Cooper S, and I really liked it.
Well, we'll talk about that next week.
We'll get more of that. Yeah.
Sweet. What else? I'm probably going to put you in the Jetta Comfort line just because.
I like Jettas.
Sweet.
I actually really like Jettas, so that's fine.
All right.
Okay,
it's the refresh one, so it'll be interesting. Because I drove it on launch. Thought it was okay. Good value for what it is, but, we'll get into that.
That's always been the Jetta thing, but let's not get too far into that.
Okay. Week. And we have a few more cool things.
Yeah, and we can probably talk about John's i7, because we'll have a little more time to play with that this week.
Yeah, and then Rush is probably going to be in, he'll be back, so we'll get his thoughts on the M5.
Yeah.
Sick.
All right, very good.
Alrighty. If you all wish to keep tabs on our automotive misadventures, you can do so at doubleclutch.ca on socials. Check us out on YouTube. We are there. And last but not least, thanks for listening, Nathan's mom.
Bye.